Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of KPW War Zone. It is I, Tapey Styles, calling the action right down the middle, flying solo as always. And we have one hell of a night of action for you here tonight. As we saw last week, Popo, the heartthrob, the odd man out in the ongoing civil war between what once was Bunker Hill, has now made a call out to the world heavyweight champion in Popcorn Papi. Business is certainly going to be discussed between those two. Who knows if they're going to be able to keep it civil after all the tension that's just been brewing over these past several weeks. You know that Popo is gaining higher and higher up that totem pole. He is certainly on the track for world championship contention, and that has certainly been on the eyes of the heartthrob. But coming up in our main event of the evening, another former member of Bunker Hill, a man that betrayed the world heavyweight champion, a man that started the Hellhounds, the Pitbull K-Dog, will be going up against the role model tape in singles action in our main event. But also still to come, tag team action will be underway as Slarty, Shuko, the First Nation, they muster up whatever strength they can find as they are consistently putting themselves up to the physical test, and they've picked one hell of a team to do it up against. For the first time ever, these two men have joined forces, folks, as Steven Gielberg has enlisted the misfit Bawb to stand side by side. They have set KPW ablaze with this unholy pairing. We've seen Ding be on the receiving end of this beatdown once already, and now they look to put the rest of the KPW locker room on notice. But a man that's also been putting the KPW locker room on notice, a man that has really shaken up the foundations of KPW, the wild card Robby Deuce, a man that has been picking up quite the grassroots campaign here, picking up quite the support as he seeks some form of redemption, some sort of guiding light from Dynamite Danny Axel. We know he'll be watching very closely here as Robby Deuce will be going one-on-one against the Diamond Dragon Opulence here tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, to kick off the festivities here tonight, two stalwarts of the Twitch division will be butting heads in the center of the ring, as the previous Twitch champion T-Nova will be stepping up against the Freedom Fighter, the man that took down Parliament, Hosway, in our opening contest here tonight. Hosway in quite the crossroads here. We saw one major chapter of this man's career come to a close just 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, in fact, at Hysteria, when he defeated Oliver English in that brutal, that bloody, unforgiving ladder match to maintain control or put an end to the control of Parliament. And marching down to the ring is a man looking to reestablish some control. The former Twitch champion, T Nova, one of two major signings made by KPW at Spring Stampede earlier this year. Looking to correct his course here tonight. A high-profile victory between one of these two young men really benefit them at this point in time. Hosway surely has his eyes on championship gold at this point in time. And T Nova, he only got just a little taste of gold. He only got a taste of success. And he is just craving for more. Snap suplex by T Nova. Hosway gets back up to his feet. Early goings of this bout, these two are going to be feeling each other out, scouting out any potential weaknesses, anything that they could possibly exploit from one another. Hosway's made one hell of a splash in the year that we've seen him here in KPW. A central source of controversy, as we've already established. T Nova making quite the immediate splash, winning his first match, winning the Twitch Championship, one of the most prestigious championships in all of KPW history, in triple threat action at Spring Stampede. If he had to go down swinging against somebody, well, there's nothing shameful about losing to the current KPW Twitch champion, Pierre Cinema, a man that we'll be seeing in action next week on a special edition of War Zone, folks, entitled Fear and Loathing, a roulette style event. High stakes, all the stars will be in action. Plenty of championship implications to go around, as we have confirmed just 1 week ago, and we can reinforce this here tonight. A champion versus champion matchup will be taking place at Fear and Loathing, as a Twitch champion Pierre Cinema will be going up against the American champion James KZ in just 1 week's time. Hosway, T Nova, they're looking to be a blip on the radar of either one of those champions, as Hosway has just cleared the ring of T Nova. T Nova slow to get back to his feet. Hosway quick on the pursuit. Corkscrew plancha to the floor, but T Nova was ready. Those cat-like reflexes of T Nova kicking in here tonight. Irish whip reversal by T Nova. We're going to inflict some damage in the corner. But Hosway pushes back. And Hosway, he has picked up quite the laundry list of championships that he's at least challenged for here in KPW. He has received a multitude of opportunities. He is a former Twitch champion himself. But with the strength and numbers that he once had with Parliament, strength and numbers that he was manipulated into, he challenged for the tag team championships. He's challenged for the World Heavyweight Championship to no avail. T Nova taking control outside of the ring. Sunset flip, shoulders down, and not even a 1 count. These two men, they have everything to prove here tonight. Overhead strike by Hosway as he pushes T Nova into the corner. Running Hurricane Rana. Not even a 1 count again. T Nova is not willing to give Hosway any kind of leeway, no leverage, not a single inch whatsoever. He knows that Hosway can take that inch and run a mile with it. Big uppercut by T Nova. Senton onto the chest of Hosway. We're gonna take the breath out of Hosway, looking to clog up the windpipes of the challenger. Hook kick from Hosway. A quick knee to the sternum of T Nova. T Nova, he's keeping quite a cool head during all this. That's one of the biggest strengths about T Nova. His willingness to adapt, his level-headed demeanor. It's allowed him to be one of the smoothest wrestlers that has ever stepped foot in a KPW ring. Hosway looking for the Hosway hangover. Nobody home. Schoolboy shoulders down. Cover. And Hosway just hangs in the balance. Cyclone Lariat cover. Another 2 count from our lead official, Slap Thigh Jones. That suplex reversal by Hosway. Head rammed into the mat. Another quick succession 2 count. Hosway looking to do even more damage to the head of T Nova. Hurricane Rana takes T Nova off the vertical base. And he's looking to put an end to all of this. All it takes is just one moment to lower that guard. Hosway looking to take things to the outside, though. Corkscrew plancha, getting all of it, unlike before.
6, 7.
He is showing out to these Kumite faithful here tonight. He is showing how determined he really is. How openly and willingly he is ready to just take on the new chapter of his career. And T Nova's looking to one-up him here.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
T Nova's quite renowned for his aerial offense as well.
12, 13, 14.
Now 14, Hosway on the apron.
1.
A senton takes Hosway off the apron.
4, 5.
High risk, high reward. T Nova's got to be pushing through some serious adrenaline after a tumble like that.
10.
There is no amount of training, no amount of bracing that these wrestlers could ever prepare for a tumble like that. That could have done some serious damage to T Nova, let alone his opponent here tonight. Out of 18, Hosway slow to get back into the ring, using every second outside the ring that he can. And this is nothing but beneficial for the freedom fighter. Magistral cradle and a 2 count as T Nova gets the arm free. Hosway going after the legs of T Nova.
1, 2.
Eliminate some of the spryness of T Nova. Chop him down, cut him down, make sure he doesn't have any sort of aerial offense that he can fall back on. Limiting his options. Do nothing but a world of good for Hosway here. Irish whip reversal into the corner, and T Nova. Look at a tattoo the chest of Hosway with the back of his hand. And look at Hosway's chest. Already turning red. Back heel kick, but T Nova's right back on his feet. Another schoolboy. And another 1 count. These two men, they are giving it their all here tonight. Hosway looking to go for a collar and elbow tie up. T Nova ducks it. Hosway puts the guard up for that discus punch. Irish whip. Hurricane Rana from T Nova this time. 1 count. High kick by Hosway. T Nova backs out of danger, preventing Hosway from cinching in that Hurricane Rana. T Nova taking down all fours. Another Magistral cradle and another 2 count. These two guys, they're just beating the hell out of each other.
1.
Lateral press. And another kick out by T Nova. Perseverant, young and hungry combatants here tonight. I feel like combatants is really starting to understate just the caliber of wrestler that these guys are. They're just warriors out here. Arm bar by T Nova. Hosway getting the rope break. Hurricane Rana, and now T Nova initiates a rope break. T Nova looked to go for a left jab. Hosway caught the arm. Went for a cyclone slam, and he's looking to go for that hangover once again. But he took too long to get to the top rope. And now T Nova is making him pay in dividends for it. Back suplex by T Nova.
One, 2, 3, 4.
Fake out by Hosway. Goes for the commitment later on with a tope suicida.
8.
And now he's ramming the back of T Nova's head
11.
on that padding on the outside, and it's not as thick as it looks. what you see on the outside of the ring there, folks. That is a very thin veneer of padding. The bare minimum amount of protection from a concrete floor. Flying forearm from the top. And T Nova still kicks out. Heel kick to the back. Hosway clutching his neck from that sheer impact. He had no idea when T Nova was gonna go for the kick. The best thing he could do is just brace as best as he could. Another maestro cradle. Hosway getting a little desperate. Another kick out by T Nova. O'Connor roll. What a fantastic bridge that was. But it wasn't good enough to keep T Nova down. And Hosway, he's thinking in the corner. He's got to consider some new options here. He's going to have to be forced to get creative here tonight. Low kick by Hosway. Irish whip into the corner. From post to post. A forearm into the corner. Another forearm. And whipped into corner number 3. T Nova tries to pump the brakes in the turnbuckle and he gets sent flying to the outside. Hosway getting a bit ahead of himself. That corkscrew plancha. And it's that hunger, it's that determination. It's its unwillingness to just pump the brakes in these critical moments. It's coming back to bite him here, and now Hosway, he's really starting to favor that arm. Nova's been zeroing in on it all night long here, folks. He's been going for arm bars, arm breakers, drop it down the knee into the lumbar region from the top and down to that floor. Hosway trying to be as careful as he can, and that slight bit of hesitation is now beginning to cost Hosway.
6, 7,
Novocaine!
8, 9, 10, 11.
Drilling him on the floor, and T Nova's not done!
14,
Oh my God!
15, 16, 17.
What's it gonna take to put either of these two men down? This may be one of the most intense opening bouts I've ever called in my life. Arm elbow tie up. Hosway not able to keep him in the hold for that long. He's still clutching that arm. Able to toss T Nova to the outside. He is affording himself as much time as he can to collect a breather, keep his distance. Now Hosway, he's looking to make a move here. Sent on down to the floor.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Out of 12. Hurricane Rana on that floor.
14, 15,
And Hosway, he is clutching that arm.
1,
He is clutching that left arm real bad.
3,
And T Nova, he is staying on the attack here. Just when Hosway tries to keep some momentum in his favor, T Nova's always got an answer, a way to shift it back in his direction.
10,
There's still some wind in the sails of Hosway. Guillotine over that top rope. Tope back into the ring. Nova running right into a snap tiger suplex.
Count two.
And he still finds the wherewithal to keep fighting. As a reminder, folks, we have a 30-minute time limit across the board on any match that is not contested for a championship. The way that these two are going, we can very well see a time limit draw here. Another kick out by Hosway. We came dangerously close to seeing the end of this. This gets punched in the corner. Hit the tack by T-Nova. Spinning wheel kick by Hosway. Head scissors takedown. Finds best not to use that left arm. And when you are a one-armed man in an ass-kicking contest, the odds can be stacked against you quite drastically. But Hosway, he's looking to make a miracle here tonight. T-Nova hangs onto that rope. He's scouted the heel kick. Left jab. Hosway left himself open. But he's all fired up. He's using whatever he's got left. Perch and T-Nova up top now. Back suplex from the top rope. And he's getting back up. Hosway looking to throw a right fist. Novocaine reversal. Not once, but so nice he's gonna do it twice. But he wants to make sure this match is finally his. A third definitive Novocaine. And that's ball game for Hosway. What a matchup. Hosway using the ropes to get to his feet here.
Holy hell, Nova. You really knocked
He's grabbed the microphone.
I haven't felt this alive in the ring until I crossed paths with you. Let these people give you a round of applause, man. You've earned your stripes here in KPW.
Hosway hanging some respect over to T-Nova. That was one hell of a fight we just saw unfold here. Taking each other to the limit for a good 20 minutes.
You're a hell of a wrestler, T-Nova, and I hope we share the ring once again down the line. Come and shake my hand, man.
Nova just brushing right past him. Leaving Hosway hanging. Brushes shoulders with Hosway. T-Nova emerges victorious here tonight. And it took every fiber of his being to make sure that Hosway could stay down long enough. Slap Thigh Jones to count the 3. What a battle! What the hell is this?
This is a real chance of domination. We've got the First Nation in tag action later tonight, and they've never shown more cracks in the armor than lately. Fighting on more fronts than they can handle. Taking on one challenge too many, embellishing how tough they are each and every step of the way. I am a former hardcore champion, a former Twitch champion, and you, Bawb, what the hell haven't you done yet in KPW? That would be easier to track with all the accomplishments you've made. But listen up, Bawb, my favorite misfit. I don't like that people consider you some kind of freak, especially people like Ding, who thinks for some reason you and him are alike. You brutalized him 2 weeks ago, and he thinks he can trauma bond and reason with you. Which brings me to business. We both got things on our plate, and let's start with you, Bawb. The time will come where Ding can no longer walk these same halls as you and I. He needs to be wiped out, forcibly removed from the face of KPW like a persistent mole that coats itself in oil and grows right back every time you pop him. That time will come later because I have something soon for us to address. Next week is Fear and Loathing. Ozone Atmosphere. We saw how capable you boys were at Hysteria getting those tag belts back. And the board of directors is expecting some kind of title shot next Monday night. Why don't the two of you take on the two of us for the KPW Tag Team Championships? You might as well just take this the easy way, because no matter what, just like that face-painted freak Ding, you're gonna get your asses beat the hard way in 7 nights, and we're gonna become champions once again.
What an emphatic statement by the director, Steven Gielberg. Quite the impromptu announcement. Even aware that we had cameras rolling in the back, but here we are. We've found out that we are going to get a tag team championship match in just 1 week's time on a special edition of War Zone, Fear and Loathing. High Velocity defends against Bawb and Steven Gielberg, and we'll be seeing more of them later on tonight. Here we have two more of APW's brightest talent in 2026. A wild card, Robby Deuce, picking up one hell of a grassroots campaign, a real career renaissance. His efforts to set the right course for his career in Opulence. One of the most promising rising stars in all of KPW. Looking to secure the biggest victory of his career here tonight. But he's got one hell of an opponent to take on here tonight. Swinging neck breaker by the Diamond Dragon. Knee lift. Robby Deuce keeping his distance as best as he can. At one point in time, this man, the wild card, Robby Deuce, he was considered one of the most dirtiest and deadliest players in the game. We've heard him talk a big game about how much he wants to clean up his acting and get his priorities straightened out. But will we be able to see that in a more physical sense here tonight? Very vocal minority, still casting that seed of doubt on Robby Deuce, even after he's been taken under the wing of one of his oldest friends in the business, Dynamite Danny Axel. Robby Deuce pushing back Opulence, raking at the eyes. Opulence sizing up Robby Deuce, running right into a chop across the chest. Irish whip, back body drop by Opulence. And the action spills once again to the outside.
4,
Face lock transition. Oh my God!
6, 7,
Backdrop driver on the floor.
10, 11.
Fear Loathing next week in the Kumite Sphere. The faithful here tonight in the forum, they're getting every penny's worth of this action here. That will not be the only major event this coming month here, as our next monthly special event,
1,
Mayhem,
2,
will also be emanating live from the Kumite Sphere on May 30th. We hope to bring you updates in the card to come for that event. But what we can confirm next week for the KPW Tag Team Championships, Bawb and Steven Gielberg will challenge High Velocity in their first defense of the Tag Team Gold. We can also confirm a champion versus champion matchup. Pierre Cinema, the Twitch champion, taking on the American champion James KZ in just 1 week's time. Robby Deuce, Opulence in the feeling out process. Robby Deuce breaking free of the waist lock. It's going to be quite a scientific matchup here. T-bone suplex by Robby Deuce. He's going to take some surgical precision from both of these men. Find the edge to find the sizable lead that they need. Walk away the victor here tonight. Robby Deuce gets tossed down to the floor once again. That floor can be quite cold, quite unforgiving, quite cruel. And we'll see plenty of cruelty in our main event still to come, as the Pitbull K-Dog, one half of the Hellhounds, will be in singles exhibition against the Role Model Tape. Sleeper cinched in on Opulence by Robby Deuce.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Robby Deuce retrieving a stop sign. Tempers are flaring up again. A back elbow from the second rope momentarily neutralizes Opulence. A headbutt to the groin. Sleeper hold. Cinched in by Robby Deuce, looking to cut off more head circulations. Calling elbow tie up. Fireman's carry position. But Robby Deuce shakes his way free here. Opulence looking to use the stop sign. Liar's dice. And now Robby Deuce giving him a reason to even the score with that stop sign. We're gonna make up some kind of moral justification to use the sign against Opulence. A gotch-style pile driver by Opulence. He is clutching that neck of his after the liar's dice by Robby Deuce. He got quite a vicious angle on that landing. Waistlock transition. Head scissors take. Headlock takeover by Opulence. Brainbuster. On to Robby Deuce. Chandelier lock. Is Robby Deuce gonna tap it? He's right there at the ropes. He grabs on to the bottom rope with ease. Side kick by Opulence. Robby Deuce still on that vertical base. And a vicious forearm by the wild card Robby Deuce here tonight. Drilling it right into the jaw of the Diamond Dragon. Low kicks by Robby Deuce. A high punch by Opulence. An elbow like a stake into the heart of the Diamond Dragon. He's looking to be... Robby Deuce is looking to slay the dragon here tonight, and he's cleared the ring of him.
2,
That much is for sure.
3, 4.
Sleeper hold by Opulence this time around. And what a quick shot to the throat by Robby Deuce. Robby Deuce straying a bit off the beaten path here. On one hand, he's been trying to keep this as clean, as civil as he can. Only looking to find moral justifications to take the low road. On the other hand, this is exactly the environment that he thrives in. Liar's dice. Once again. Drilling him with that stop sign just to make sure. Robby Deuce still looking to put in some work with that stop sign. And a low blow to Opulence. And this has been one hell of a battle within itself here. Saw some high octane action to kick off the show here tonight between Hosway and T Nova. We're seeing a match that could certainly make a man's blood boil. Opulence trying to beat Robby Deuce in his own game here. Go for an overhead swing with that stop sign. Heel kick to the back. Arm to the back. First cover of the night between these two, and a rope break has been officiated. Shotgun drop kick in the corner. As a reminder, folks, you can only be disqualified by ways of interference or some kind of time limit draw. Whether they go the full 30 minutes, whether somebody gets counted out outside of the ring. Collar and elbow tie up. Robby Deuce. Tiger bomb. Sit up position. This could be it. And Robby Deuce waits for the perfect moment to strike. We thought here first that double underhook position that Robby Deuce was going to go for the V1 liar's dice. A double underhook face buster. And it looked like Opulence was going to try and finagle his way upwards and out of the double underhook position. And that gave Robby Deuce some quick thinking. The sharp wit of this man really coming through here as he turns it into a tiger bomb. Opulence was trying to beat Robby Deuce at his own game, at a game that he was more familiar with, and underestimating the wit of Robby Deuce. Opulence has taken the fall here tonight. Congratulations to the wild card Robby Deuce on one hell of a matchup. But coming up next, folks, tag team action. As the First Nation, Slarty, Shuko, picking up quite the battle scars of these past several weeks, picking up some serious bruises. They're looking to put themselves to the test once again, folks, as Slarty and Shuko team up against a first time ever pairing here tonight. The misfit Bawb and the director Steven Gielberg in tag team action. With each passing week, Shuko is looking a bit worse for wear with that elbow brace. Pushing through week after week. Pushing through all the strain, all the battles that him and Slarty have endured. Fighting all these different fronts to maintain their dominance in the tag team division. And if they're not careful about their movements here tonight, they could create one hell of an opening. For two of the biggest, nastiest bastards in all of KPW. The director, Steven Gielberg, leading the charge. As his personal hitman is heavy. A man that he no longer deems a misfit, a man that he has called the ultimate male. Looks to join him side by side. A lump sum of cash that this man had to be offered to stand side by side with the director, a man that he's fought wars against in the ring. Always about the personal gain first. Steven Gielberg electing to start this bout off against Shuko, considering the glaring weak point that is on his left arm, folks. I don't think this surprises me one bit that Steven Gielberg would want to pick a fight against the mastermind of the First Nation, and I'm sure Shuko has already prepared some sort of contingency plan to work around this. He knows that Steven Gielberg's gonna fight dirty. He knows he's gonna take every shortcut in the book. But Shuko is a man that has helped write that book here for KPW. High fetch chops. And Shuko throwing himself into harm's way, getting right into the corner, right where the misfit Bawb get his hands on him at any moment. And if you thought the size difference in the ring here right now was bad, Steven Gielberg weighing in tonight at about 275 pounds, about a 40-pound gain on Sigma Shuko. It's going to be made that much worse if Bawb gets tagged in. Slarty gets the tag this time around. A War Machine, the fresher of the two members of the First Nation. A man that's been biting off a little bit more than he could chew, as many would claim. It was his idea. It was his throwing of the hat for the tag team division, that four-way turmoil match at Hysteria that ultimately caused the demise of the First Nation's second tag team championship reign. And Slarty feels that he owes it to himself and his tag team partner Shuko to get themselves out of the mess that he is very much created here. Double leg takedown by Slarty. Waistlock transition. When Slarty was going up against the director, Steven Gielberg, it was a much closer battle here. Slarty weighing in tonight at 265. Bit closer odds, a bit more even of a fight against Steven Gielberg. But if Bawb gets into that ring once again, there's that 40-pound weight differential. Bawb clocking in tonight at 300 pounds on the dot. One of the biggest hosses in all of KPW. Fujiwara armbar by Steven Gielberg. It is imperative that Slarty tries to keep himself in the best shape that he can. Because of neither member of the First Nation is capable of going at 100%. They're just lambs for the slaughter. Especially against an unholy pairing like the director and the misfit, Steven Gielberg and Bawb. The two men have declared themselves a tag team title match next week at Fear and Loathing, a special edition of War Zone. You know that Ozone, Atmosphere, High Velocity, the tag team champions are going to be watching real closely, and they have one hell of a size differential to worry about themselves. If you thought the ratios were bad for the First Nation in this matchup, it's going to be that much worse for the lighter and more nimble High Velocity. Bawb has 65 pounds over Sigma Shuko. And Shuko is proven here tonight to be one of the toughest pound for pound combatants that KPW has to offer. Pendulum backbreaker onto Bawb. And look at how vastly different the approaches are between both members of the First Nation. Shuko is very much the more disciplined combatant of the two. We're gonna make his opponent do all the mistakes for him. Let the overzealousness of Bawb or Steven Gielberg create all the opportunities that Sigma Shuko needs. And then you pair that with the more aggressive, the more brutish, the bigger, the stronger, the badder half of the First Nation in Slarty. A tried and true combination of brains and brawn. The First Nation have been the franchise tag team here in KPW. Small package by Steven Gielberg. Not even a 1 count. Forearm strike by Slarty. Steven Gielberg standing his ground. Sleeper hold cinched in by Steven Gielberg. But Slarty breaks free before Steven Gielberg was able to properly apply the hold, and now he's got a decent grip. But he hasn't settled for a sleeper hold. He's trying to gouge at the eyes of the War Machine. And that's exactly what we meant when we said Steven Gielberg was more than willing to get his hands dirty here tonight. Side suplex by Shuko. Slarty fighting off Steven Gielberg. Shuko having until the count of 5 to get back to his corner of the ring. And he gets tagged in by Slarty. And Steven Gielberg goes low on Shuko. Power slam by the director. A tag made out to Bawb. One of the cruelest, one of the most sadistic men in KPW history, and he has the resume and the size to back it up. The first ever American champion, the last ever hardcore champion, the longest reigning tag team champion, the only person that was able to become a double champion, holding the tag team championships and the Twitch championship at the same time. The only championship that has ever eluded Bawb is the KPW World Heavyweight Championship. And he's got one hell of a climb to make if he ever wants to get a shot at that again. Shuko affording himself as much time as he needs. It's already turning his attention to Bawb. Tandem offense by the First Nation. And Bawb has just pulled Slarty right into a closed fist. A clenched fist by Shuko, taking Slarty off the apron down to the floor. A little bit of miscommunication between the two partners. And as we've seen in recent months from Steven Gielberg,
1, 2.
any well that he has gotten close to here in KPW, he has been able to poison it. Almost broke the neck of the Viceroy Jedi. He momentarily put Pierre Cinema out to pasture. And if he could get his grubby hands in between the dynamic of Slarty and Shuko, he could create some real seismic damage here to the tag team division. A perfect opening for him and Bawb to thrive in. Slarty was looking to go for a neck breaker. Steven Gielberg countered it into a reverse DDT. Discus lariat. Swinging for the fences is Steven Gielberg. Spinning back elbow by Slarty. And Steven Gielberg goes low to even the score. And oh my God, Bawb is back in. Bawb is the legal man. He has gotten the tag. And this could be really bad news for the War Machine, Slarty. Shuko looking to make a gamble here, tagging himself in to get his hands on Bawb. Tandem offense, a double suplex on the Bawb. I don't know if Shuko is going to be able to pull that off by himself. He's got one bad arm, folks. Think of the damage that could be done to Shuko if somebody was able to get their hands on him long enough to try and remove the brace. Now left hook for the sternum of Shuko takes him down. A snap suplex onto the table. Hold it up on the mat. I fetch chop. Bawb goes careening over the top rope and down to the floor. It's already intervening for his partner as Steven Gielberg tosses Shuko to the outside. And now Steven Gielberg takes a tumble. All four of these men brawling on the outside now. Shuko, Bawb getting back into the ring. Looking to keep things strictly business. Our tag team match of the evening. Tag made out to Slarty. Wishbone split by Slarty. Got chopped at the legs of the 6'8", 300-pound Bawb. Big power slam by Slarty. The back elbow attempted by Slarty, caught into a reverse arm bar by Bawb. Going for it again. The stubbornness of Slarty coming back to bite him here once again tonight. The tag has been made out. SOS has been called for the director, Steven Gielberg. We now have two tables in opposite corners of the ring. This is not atypical for the First Nation to introduce weapons to the bout. We've seen countless times Slarty bringing out that barbed wire 2x4. Now Slarty have to fend for himself against these two bigger brutes than him. Swinging DDT onto the table. And Slarty looking to equalize things for his partner. There is absolutely something to consider with Shuko. We know that two of his most potent maneuvers, Lion Tamer, the double power bomb, they are going to be significantly weakened without the strength of that left arm. Full Nelson slam by Bawb. Slarty takes the bullet for his partner. Irish whip, medium the mines, big boot to Shuko. And Bawb launching over that top rope like a cruise missile. That is scary, folks. That is a 300-pound man defying all the laws of gravity. He gets his hands on Shuko. Shuko dodged out of the way, rolled over to make the tag to Slarty, and now Slarty is taking the collateral damage for his partner once again. Slarty's never shied away from a fight. You know that's created some issues for the First Nation as of late. But it could be the very saving grace for them here tonight. Side suplex by Shuko. Softening up the director for his partner. Swinging neck breaker by Slarty. Open palm strike by Slarty. Slarty retrieving the table. Looking to drill the director in the head with it, and he gets it. Pushing him back into the corner. Wailing away with the table. And the First Nation turn their attention to the freshest man of the bout, the misfit Bawb. Whereas Steven Gielberg has coined and has tried to rechristen him here tonight, the ultimate male. Reverse shoulder breaker by Steven Gielberg. And one has to wonder how deep the pockets are for the director to take on these ventures, to enlist the likes of the Scheme over the past several months. We haven't seen them since Pierre Cinema took them out just to stand a chance against Steven Gielberg. Enlisted the assistance of the misfit Bawb.
1, 2, 3.
He had to pay top dollar to get his hands on any kind of deal with Bawb, especially for him to be his personal hitman. Going after Ding these past several weeks. Always slammed by Slarty. Running bulldog by Steven Gielberg. Back suplex by Bawb. Backbreaker by Shuko. We're at a stalemate, folks. And there's still 10 minutes to go. What a counter by Shuko. Shuko with due diligence. Drilling those knees into the chest of Bawb like he's checking his pulse. With each passing blow that he makes. Back body drop by Bawb. Shuko trying to keep Bawb down. They're gonna go for a drop kick to the knees of the big man. Release German suplex to Steven Gielberg. A tag is made out to Slarty. Ham offense. Whip by Shuko. Belly to belly suplex by Slarty. Slarty falling back on those old tricks. The stun gun draping the neck of Steven Gielberg over that top rope. I could do some serious internal decapitation. Big splash onto the back of Slarty, but Slarty does not give in to the pressure. He does not give in to the weight of the director over his shoulders. Another fall-away slam by Slarty. And what a hell of a way to disarm the War Machine, Steven Gielberg, with a discus lariat. Knocks Slarty on his tuchus.
2, 3.
Bob's got the tag. He's the legal man. But he's got a long ways to run to break up the brawl here. This is what Steven Gielberg and Bawb have been able to mobilize and materialize on their first night as a tag team. They've been able to go the distance with the First Nation. A big splash onto the chest of Shuko. There's still more pain to be dished out here tonight. Waistlock reversal by Shuko. Bawb transitions into one of his own. And what a vicious clothesline to the back of the neck of Shuko. You need EMTs. Cover. And a kick out by Shuko. You ain't gonna find this level of intensity anywhere else here, folks. This is the home of fighting spirit. This is some of the best bell-to-bell action you'll ever see across all professional wrestling. This is Kumite Pro Wrestling in its zenith, at its finest, and its rawest, most concentrated form. Juco tossing Steven Gielberg to the floor as he locks eyes with Bawb, and he wants Bawb to put up a fight. He just told Bawb to bring it on.
9, 10.
He may be a bit more reserved than Slarty,
13.
but he still has just as much fight, if not more. Out of 17, Slarty's got Steven Gielberg pretty preoccupied on the outside. Juco's attention's been on neutralizing Bawb, and Juco's just a house of fire. There is no give. There is no wavering in the heart of Sigma Shuko here tonight. Irish whip. Schoolboy, cover! Cover! That kick out at one by Bawb. Meeting of the minds. Swinging DDT onto the table. What is going to be left for Bawb and Steven Gielberg next week on War Zone? Next week in the Sphere at Fear and Loathing, when they have to challenge High Velocity for the KPW Tag Team Championships. Tandem German suplexes by the First Nation. Slarty, full Nelson slam onto Bawb. And he's feeding off the energy of this Kumite faithful crowd. Packed, stacked, and sold out. Pop-up Samoan drop. And Slarty's got a whole lot of strength left in him. And that is everything that the First Nation needs to survive here. That is their ultimate goal here. We have less than 2 minutes left. And look at the agility of Bawb. What a hell of a wrist lock reversal by the Misfit. Steven Gielberg likes to claim that the Misfit, that Bawb, he isn't a freak, but he is certainly a freak of one kind. He is a freakish athlete. For him to pull off from the athletic maneuvers that he's able to do, with the agility, with the speed, with the technique that he has, you would not expect that from a 300-pound man. "60 seconds left and ticking, folks." Steven Gielberg, all the cards stacked in his favor. He's locked that table Assist pile driver by the First Nation. Chuko was looking to get his hands on the director there. He was looking to put this match to bed. And he might not have to wait long. He might have to settle for the time limit draw. Snap suplex by Steven Gielberg. Drills down the elbow. And yet another week goes by. The First Nation is going to scrape by here. And Bawb and Steven Gielberg have put the tag team division on notice. They have put the tag team champions on notice. As we are just 1 week away from a tag team championship matchup. Steven Gielberg, Bawb, they will take that time limit draw because their tag team championship match at Fear and Loathing in just 7 nights is firmly secured. And the First Nation, this may be a time limit draw. There's no wins, no losses in the columns of either of those teams. But they both fight to scrape by for another day. But coming up next, our main event. The Pitbull, K-Dog, the leader of the Hellhounds, will be going one-on-one against the role model, Tape. What a night of action this has been, folks. And there could still be more after the bell rings to close this main event up. We still have to hear from the heartthrob Popo. We still have to see if the world champion Popcorn Papi is gonna answer his calls. But K-Dog, he's a man that is quite familiar with both Popo and Popcorn Papi. He's had his fair share of setbacks. It's hysteria. And now his skills, his acumen, they're gonna be put to the test by the role model Tape. Seasoned, a grizzled veteran of the squared circle. A former KPW tag team champion. Rolling clothesline by K-Dog. And what a way to kick things off here. Leading with undue aggression, the Pitbull. Is looking to move as feral and as rapid as he can. Our main event here, he still believes that he has the fit, he has the bill, he matches the bill of what a world champion should be in KPW. He believes that he has wasted so much time as an underling for our current world champion Popcorn Papi, pondering to himself why he tried to rely so much on a man that he hated so much. He let that resentment harbor the very fiber of his being. We saw an absolute bloodbath of hysteria between him and Popcorn Papi for the KPW World Heavyweight Championship. He did not succeed in those endeavors, but I cannot imagine that K-Dog is that far behind in the hunt for the World Heavyweight Championship. He has some suitors that are just a little bit higher up the totem pole. And if K-Dog is not careful here tonight, Tape could join that list of suitors.
1, 2,
Looking to take on
3,
the Street Fighter for that coveted KPW World Heavyweight Championship.
7,
Short arm clothesline by K-Dog.
9, 10, 11,
A bulldog onto the floor.
13, 14,
Ramming Tape's head into the ring post.
16,
And a 16 dumps him back into the ring underneath that bottom rope. Springboard leg drop. Cover.
2,
And a kick out by Tape. K-Dog has firmly been in control of this bout.
1, 2,
I would not underestimate the role model whatsoever. All it takes is one opening. A little bit of overzealousness, a little bit of unrequired aggression for K-Dog's lead, for his momentum, for his ebb and flow in this bout. To lose control, to lose his firm control here. Neck breaker by K-Dog. Irish whip into the corner. Another whip into the corner. Big forearm into the chest of Tape. Northern Lights suplex by K-Dog. And it's quite clear that he's taken the threat of Tape very lightly here tonight. And that could be the very thing that could cost K-Dog this entire bout. His hubris could get in the way here. Chicken wing suplex. Shoulders down. And a kick out by Tape. He's still in the balance here, folks. Tape has been flying solo since that tag team championship reign with Bawb came to a close about a year ago. The longest reigning KPW tag team champions of all time. They've set out to earn some singles gold in all that time, and he has not been successful on any of those fronts. He has not came close to the World Heavyweight Championship. He has came dangerously close to obtaining the Twitch Championship, but has failed on multiple fronts against multiple champions in that endeavor as well. He has not challenged for the American Championship, however. I don't even think the role model has the likes of James KZ, the American champion, on his radar here. He's got his eyes set on bigger prizes, especially the one that could be offered if he defeats K-Dog here tonight. Surfboard stretch from the mat. A sweep kick.
2,
Takes Tape out of the ring here. And a quick jab by K-Dog.
One,
Looks to knock a couple screws loose in the head of Tape.
3, 4,
Launch of over the top and down to the floor.
7,
Out of 7.
8,
Whip into the steps.
10, 11,
Tape
12.
with a reversal. This could be a little bit of hope, and K-Dog is snatched it away from him. Another release, Northern Lights suplex by K-Dog. Russian leg sweep reversal by K-Dog. Pump handle slam, taking a page out of the books of Popcorn Papi. Looking to send a message to the champion. And K-Dog has vanquished the role model here tonight. You know that his tag team partner, the other half of the Hellhounds, Solo, watching on from the back with undue glee. As K-Dog refuses to let the likes of Tape create more roadblocks on his chase towards the World Heavyweight Championship, his chase, his journey to dish out some payback. On Popcorn Papi, looking to try and get one up from Hysteria. Taking a page out of the book of the world champion. That could be a hell of a way to get underneath the skin of Popcorn Papi. What a monumentous victory for the Pitbull, but still to come. Speaking of former stablemates in Bunker Hill, Popo looking to call out the KPW World Heavyweight Champion. Still do not adjust those dials. Don't change that set. As the World Heavyweight Champion is still set to appear here tonight. A-Dog, he knows to expect the heartthrob. They've had some skirmishes in these past several weeks. He's not even leaving the ring here. He's looking to get his hands, looking to get a drop on the heartthrob. It's gonna be quite serious. This could be quite inflammatory. And that is not the music of the heartthrob. K-Dog running for the hills. You got a higher value target out of the KPW World Heavyweight Champion. And he's not gonna share the ring with Popcorn Papi. He doesn't know if Popcorn Papi's got backup. We don't even know if he took the deal with the lethal lottery winner Jedi over the course of this past week. We never got an answer, but we might get some here tonight.
What's up, party people? The champ is in the house. Heavy can be the head that wears this crown, Mang. I've had to make some tough calls defending this, and I know that will never change. And that's why I'm calling you down to the ring, Mang. You wanted this time. Come and get it, Popo.
And now is Popcorn Papi beating the heartthrob to the punch, laying down the gauntlet for the heartthrob Popo. And Popo ain't wasting no time, folks. There's quite a lot that Popo's gonna want to get off his chest. For the world heavyweight champion, a lot of questions left unanswered between these two.
This is the first time we've spoken since all the sheet went down with Bunker Hill. And let's cut to the chase a bit, man. I know damn well that you ain't here to reminisce on simpler times. So do me the honor and let everybody know what you really got on your mind.
You know what, champ? You're right.
To the chase.
You are 100% right. I am not here to talk to you about Bunker Hill. I'm not here to reminisce, and I ain't here to talk about who or what I chose to preserve. I'm not gonna move the way those so-called hellhounds do. I can tell you right to your face that Bunker Hill started as a means to an end, and that goal was completely met. I'm not a spineless coward like Solo. I'm not a jealous, backstabbing prick like K-Dog. I've been in this business for quite some time, and I've seen my fair heckin' share of shit, Popcorn Papi. The way those two moved on you, I know it's gonna come back to bite them soon enough. And I would love nothing more than to see you be the one that serves them that righteous fury. But when that time comes, your load is going to be much lighter than it stands right now. These people know that 2026 is the year for main event Popo. This is the gamble of my life because I don't know if I will ever get a chance to shine like this again. I want a match against you next week on War Zone at the Sphere. I know you're shell-shocked, kid. But come on, brother. We're talking Sin City. It's always been about taking risks, making gambles. So let's make this fun. Roger, if you're back there, spin the heckin' wheel.
Spin the wheel? What's this all about? A whole lineup of stipulations here on that wheel. Oh my God! Look at put up some serious wagers here.
I'd hold up. This ain't exactly fair to you, Mang. And I'm only speaking up 'cause we go back when I say this. You want the shine so bad, you want the spotlight bad enough to run through me? At Fear and Loathing in the Kumite Sphere. Next week, you put up dem long locks of hair on the line. And to make this fair, I'll put this KPW World Heavyweight Championship on the line as well.
Oh my God! We're gonna get hair versus title next week in the Sphere?
Man. Thank you so very much. Let's let the best man between us win it all next week. Me and you. Title versus hair, 1-on-1. One last thing before then, champ. I've seen the way he's been moving around you with that briefcase since Hysteria. He's been a thorn in my side for even longer. I know the situation you're in, so just tell me, Popcorn Papi, did you take Jedi's deal to protect that title? If I catch you lacking next week, are you gonna take the L like a man?
Some serious questions there from Popo. He's just as concerned about the Viceroy like any of us are.
Are you asking me if I would be in cahoots with the Viceroy? With all the reasons I have not to trust anybody that gets close. Just listen to me, Mang. For my own safety, and for as much transparency as I can let through, I can confirm that I made a deal with Jedi. But what I can do is promise you one thing face to face. Next Monday night at Fear and Loathing. I ain't gonna call for backup to shave that head of yours. I respect the heel out of you, Mang. I gave you a title shot when I didn't need to wager any tang. I'm giving you every tang I got next week, and I'm gonna do all of it myself.
A gentleman's agreement.
You better.
Between champion and challenger. And we can now confirm that there may be some level of compromise. As the world champion and the Lethal Lottery winner, they might be working side by side here. But one thing is absolutely certain. Next week, Fear Loathing, level playing field. Championship versus hair. Popcorn Papi defends the gold against the heartthrob Popo. If Popo loses, he must shave his head. And that is all the time we have left here, folks. I've been Tapey Styles, the only man that can call the action right down the middle, flying solo as always. And we will see you next week in the Sphere for Fear and Loathing. Good night, everybody.
I know I'm sexy. I've got the look that drives to go wild.